Good evening and welcome to the Monday, January 20, 6 p.m. regular meeting of the Bell Gardens Development Commission. The meeting will now come to order. Tonight's invitation will be given by Pastor Jr. and will be led by Councilmember Barton.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, and the women and all the city of Barton. Mayor, Kobe, the other people that their family terrible. Join in prayer. Not only ask for God upon our meetings, but also work, be with all those families. Father, as we before you, we'd like to present this meeting. Father, we ask that your wisdom, your grace, your presence be upon our city and all the staff that makes our city great. The meeting that is held this year, be blessed by your presence. May you give them, each one of them, your blessing, Father. The great leaders of this, Father, they are called to be, but also in this time, the family of Kobe, that they lost loved ones. You give them the comfort, and your presence be upon them. May you, by your Spirit, Father, we ask this in the
Ready to begin. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
Agency Secretary, the Successor Agency. Yes, ma'am. Members.
Present.
Vice Chair Flores. Present. Chair Cortez. Present. Public participation. Do you have any speaker cards? If there's no objection by the agency members, I will now close public participation. On to the consent. The agency wish to go on item for separate discussion. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and move to approve the item on the consent calendar. May I have a second?
second.
Objection by the council? Seeing none, consent calendar passes unanimously. Agency member comments? Seeing none, if there is no objection by the successor, adjourn the meeting at 6:08 p.m. and call to order the city council meeting. Good evening and welcome to the 6 p.m. regular City Council. Welcome to order. City Clerk, will you please call roll of the City Council? Barcena?
Present.
Rodriguez? Present. Mayor Pro Tem Flores? Present. Before we session report, I just want to good note, and I would like to for us to have a dialogue so through all the different items and all the important conversations on tonight's agenda. Please follow. I would really truly appreciate it, and that's from my colleagues, the audience, and tonight. Rick, close that.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. With respect to item number, this is the closed session report. With respect to item number 1, we received a briefing from outside on the final action in closed session. Councilmember Rodriguez did not participate in the discussion of this item. Item number 2, the City Council received a report. Legal counsel Best and Krieger, but did not take action in closed session tonight. Item 3, the City Council received a presentation from the city's designated. Unanimous direction was given, but no final action was taken in closed session. And finally, with respect to the city council from representatives, direction was given, but no final action was taken. That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. City, please announce the next presentation.
Thank you, Mayor Cortez. The presentation is really a visual depiction of what you just described regarding the rules of decorum that exist with. So our city clerk, Jane Halstead, will just run a quick PowerPoint just to help inform the public and council as well.
Thank you for giving this introduction, City Manager. Tonight is rules of decorum and rules of order. The rules and rules of order for the conduct of City Council by resolution in 1998, September 1998, by resolution number 1998-35. The city has a duty to conduct the business of government in an efficient and orderly fashion. So the role of the mayor is the presiding officer at all city council meetings. Every meeting, the regular meeting, special meeting, adjourned meeting, any meeting. The mayor should require be directed to the mayor. Therefore, council members or with the public should be ruled out of order by the mayor. In the Mayor Pro Tem presides. Rules of council members. All council order and decorum. Discussion by council. When the city council is in session, all council must preserve decorum. Council members shall delay or interrupt the meetings of the council or any member while council will not engage any language, personal attack on any members of the city council or include the integrity, honesty, or motives of such officials. Upon recognition of the mayor, what a council member shall not do: be interrupted when speaking unless called to order by the mayor, unless a point of order or personal privilege is raised by another council member, or unless the speaker chooses to yield to a question member of the council. Rules of decorum. Members of the shall not engage in disorderly or boisterous conduct. An example of that is shouting, threatening, or use of abusive language, clapping, whistling. Persons in the council complete a speaker card. When members of the public may address the city council, there are 2 points where that can. Those points are during public comment on items on the agenda. Those are the white public comments on non-agenda items, the pink card. Useful and so we need to speak. Rules of city council meetings. Any council member wishing to speak must obtain the floor by the mayor. Any council member may require the mayor to enforce by point. Council remarks that under debate. Enforcement. There will be a warning from the mayor. The mayor shall first require to cease. If the warning is ignored, the mayor has the authority to order the person be ejected and/or cited in violation of Penal Code 403. Clearing the room when this occurs due to interrupted. Mayor or mayor majority may clear the room if order cannot be repealed. Representatives of the press or except those participating in the disturbance shall be allowed to attend. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for questions.
Yes, I do have no other comments than anything. Estamos aquí. Qué bien esta presentación, creo que siempre es bueno que nos eduquemos y referente a las reglas y reglamentos que existen para proteger, obviamente, la seguridad del pueblo. Pero creo que esta presentación también más que al igual se les hubiera a ustedes informado, educado sobre cuáles son sus derechos. Creo que para es que también sobre los derechos que tienen cuando están acá. Por ejemplo, cuando a todos se les dijo que se salieran de
I can be quite a bit more than
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure that, just let us know.
Por ejemplo, cuando a todos se les pidió que salieran de acá, no todos ustedes que el alcalde se encontró ofensivos, creo que algunos de ustedes estuvieron muy pasivos, sentados, escuchando. Entonces, en el momento que todos salieran, es correcto que las personas que se estaban comportando en una manera, obviamente interpretan de esa manera, hayan permitido entrar. También creo que cuando las personas, a todos por hizo salir, la Junta se inició, se les hubiera a ustedes informado que la Junta se iniciaba y darles la opción de volver a entrar. Eso nunca se hizo. Entonces creo que aquí, nuevamente muchísimas gracias por la presentación, pero creo que aquí también es justo que exista una sesión donde a ustedes se les informa sobre cuáles derechos tienen ustedes como residentes a expresar sus opiniones y cuándo es que realmente los pueden sacar, porque me imagino que aquí hay personas que se miran muy discretas y no somos un poquito más expresivos cuando nos están violando nuestros derechos. Con algunos concejales tenemos la tendencia a ser un poquito más expresivos cuando uno mira que están tratando de silenciarla y hacer un voto antes de que yo tenga la oportunidad de explicar. Entonces, obviamente, si alguien de aquí los ofendí con mi comportamiento, donde yo estaba mostrando preocupación sobre el hecho de que se me estaban violando mis derechos como concejal, hablar sobre los temas que yo miraba que son a ustedes, hasta el mismo concilio. Si en algún momento yo ofendí a algún concilio, pues yo quedé como representante, pido una disculpa. Pero también creo que las personas sentadas, las que estaban, justo que lo sacaran y tampoco que no les permitieran entrar, que por enfrente de la puerta y no les permitieran entrar, aunque algunos de ustedes sí lo pidieron. Entonces, sí, muchas gracias. But I think that it is important that just recognizing the rules of decorum, we also in regards in compliance with the Act. So, he pedido que para la próxima junta también se haga una pequeña presentación, educándonos a todos nosotros sobre sus derechos. Nuevamente, es bueno siempre refrescar y nuevamente por sobre los derechos como representantes. Entonces, nuevamente, esto ofrece a algún defender mis derechos que son.
I think it's always good to study and refresh our memories on the rules and regulations that protect the safety of the city council. But I believe that it would be better if there were also information given to inform you of your rights as residents. So I ask that it's an presentation regarding residents. For example, when was ejected from the room, I believe that not everyone was saying things offensive to the mayor, or not everyone was causing disturbances. I believe a lot of you were simply sitting there watching quietly. So I believe that it would be fair to allow them to have returned into the chamber for the rest of the meeting. When the meeting resumed, I believe that they should have been given an option of. And again, thank you for the presentation, but we do need a presentation about the rights of the residents. And because many are quiet, are more expressive when they feel violated, just as some council members may be more expressive when their rights by holding a vote. I was given the chance. If I offended my right to be able to speak, but as just it's not fair, was expelled, ejected, and not police officers at the door, not letting back into the meeting later after everything calmed down. Have those same rights, and as that we will at the next meeting to refresh our memories on our, to refresh everyone's memory regarding everyone's rights. And once again, if I offended anyone by defending my rights as a council rights, then I do apologize.
Buenas tardes, me gustaría hablarles en español, lenguaje principal, pero también por respeto al concejal, por su tiempo, entonces voy a hablar y por favor en español, porque lo que les voy a decir es importante. I believe that we need to, that when we come to a council meeting, we are being productive. There are dozens of to conduct city business. So that's very hard. We have things prepared on the agenda to hear about, but to approve. So there's serious business going on here that we need to get. Is city council member's job is to communicate with you. If you were violated the last meeting, let me tell you, and I'll, because what actually happened is that the disruption of the meeting, everyone could not have a voice. Is it the you're able to speak to us? You're able to talk to us. We'll take notes and we'll connect the meeting if needed, because that's our job. From the bottom of my heart, I'll connect with you. There's no one in the audience that has me or tried to. So I hope that you know that in reality, at the last meeting, is that your opportunity to communicate with us was replaced. So I hope you understand that. Please feel free to always reach out to me. I'm your counselor. I'm here to work for you. I'm here to be honest with you. And I have an agenda. The agenda here is to serve you, the community. I hope you know that. I hope you understand that. And I always work the entire city getting things done. There's a lot of great things on this agenda that we can get through it. You'll be hearing the great things together. So thank you for listening, and it's been a great meeting. I'm this meeting.
Council, any other comments by the council? Yo te voy a hablar español. Los puntos que ha hecho Marco, muy cierto, pero creo que cuando nosotros estamos en campaña, yo toco a sus puertas y Lisset toca a sus puertas. Cuando yo siempre, no solamente ahorita, siempre me interesa escuchar sus problemas. Pero yo no voy a esperar que ustedes vengan. Yo voy hacia ustedes. Mientras que el concilio mantenga la mentalidad esa, a mí, no a la comunidad. Cuando estabas en campaña, tuviste tiempo de hablar con ellos. Cuando estabas en campaña, tocaste a las puertas. Cuando estabas en campaña, estábamos hablando y comunicándonos. ¿Por qué eso, ahora que ya están acá, porque ustedes nos apoyaron? La responsabilidad como concejales es no sentarnos y estar en las oficinas o estar en conferencias. Como concejales es escucharlos y escucharlos a muchas de las preocupaciones que la comunidad hoy en día necesita remedio. No es algo que yo me invento, son preocupaciones que ustedes me informan a mí. Y por eso muchas gracias, y cuando yo voy a tocarles a sus puertas me la abren. Que ustedes me informan a mí de sus preocupaciones. Y gracias a ustedes y a la voz que ustedes me han dado, comunicación, muy cierto. Número celular, ustedes saben quién soy, saben cómo encontrarme y no importa. Una de las cosas que me da mucho orgullo decir es que cada quien es un amigo para mí, no solamente durante campaña, no solamente durante campaña los busco. Por ese continuo apoyo, creo que es muy necesario que la mentalidad cambie y que no esperen que ustedes vengan acá, pero que ellos vayan para ustedes como lo hacen durante la campaña. Okay, City Manager, will you please announce the public hearing item? Oh, I'm so sorry. Please interrupt.
I think that Marcus's points were very true, but what Marcus doesn't understand is that during the campaign, I knocked on doors. Lisette knocked on doors. I wanted then, and I still want, I always want to listen to you. But I don't wait for you to, I go to you to find out what your concerns are. Other council members knock on doors during the campaign, but why does that change once they're sitting here on the responsibility is not to just be offices, having meetings. Our responsibility is to listen to the public. And that I bring up during the meeting are not just things that I've made up, they are have informed issues that they're having. So I thank you all. I thank you all for coming to me. I thank you for speaking to me and communicating your concerns to me. And you all have my cell phone number. You know how to find me. You know how to get in touch with my community and my friends, and not just during the campaign, but always. I believe that the mentality of needs to be reaching out to find out their concerns.
I just want to real quick remind the council as we that this room belongs to the residents. You guys might feel sometimes that we have who gave us that power, and just like they give it to you, they can take it back. So, con eso les estoy, este cuarto aquí, ustedes están aquí, usan nuestras escuelas. Recordarles un sentido de que una vez, este mismo puede estar bien, y nosotros acompañamos. Thank you, Council. City Manager, public hearing.
Thank you. This item is council every 3 years brings codes with the code adoption. And government community development directors happy to answer.
Honorable Mayor, as our city manager is stating, this item comes to you every 3 years. It's the adoption of the California. In this case, what we're asking you to do is conduct tonight, introduce the and then adopted by reference, Title 2019 Los Angeles County Bill and Title 30 2019 Los Angeles. The notices were done in accordance with law. You to take that action of introducing the ordinance, and then second reading will occur, if all goes well tonight with this, on February 10th. That concludes my report.
Okay, at this public hearing and public comment, is to speak on this item. Okay, seeing that there is no one, I will close public comments and the public hearing. We will now move on to council member comments. Any comments from the council? Seeing none, may I have a motion to consider the adoption of ordinance 903 with reference to titles 26 through 31 to the Los Angeles County Building Codes and Title 32 Los Angeles County Fire Code after the introduction of ordinance. Is there any objection by the council? Seeing none, the motion passes unanimously. Okay, at this point, public participation items is now open. We received Rogelio Rodríguez.
Bueno, policía explica la calle, es lo que estoy viendo. Me voy a referir a lo que es la reafirmación del meeting pasado. Lo que vino pasando es porque aquí no queremos tener un Chávez, un Castro, que nos miren a su discreción y nos está quitando todos los derechos de los ciudadanos. Y esta persona para servir a su comunidad.
Good evening, my name is Rogelio. And comment, this looks like a prison. There seem to be more police officers here than right now. But I just want to go back to the last meeting and explain that here is a or a house he or she wants, and thereby taking away the rights of the community. If I'm capable of with the issues of the community, then that person should step down. Thank you.
Is there your first question?
We don't need.
Okay, if there's no objection by the city council, I will now close public participation. Will you please give your report?
Mayor Cortez, I'll waive the report in the interest of time. The significant amount of additional information.
Thank you, City Manager. We will now move on to the consent. Any member of the council wish to pull an item for separate discussion. additions of items 2, 8, 9, may I have a second?
Uno,
Oh, yes.
Barcena,
Yes.
Rodriguez. Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Flores.
Yes.
And Mayor Cortez.
Yes. So we'll each item separately. We'll begin with item number 2, and Councilwoman Rodriguez, you have the floor.
Si ustedes tienen en el número de reafirmación pasado que se ha hecho, uno de los motivos que creo es el argumento que cuando ustedes fueron obligados a salir de acá, que ellos no consideraban, estaban interrumpiendo la Junta y los obligaron a todos ellos violar, porque una pública como esta tiene que ser pública y tiene ustedes acceso a audio o visual, lo que no tuvieron. Entonces, yo pregunté y cuestioné por qué tenía que reafirmar algo que es correcto. Y el argumento es reafirmar por la impresión al público, no quiere que quede la impresión de que los votos no fueron bien hechos. La primera junta en la cual las personas las hacen salir. Solo a las personas que causaron disturbios, no a todos en general. Y siempre hubieron afuera tal vez acusaciones de que no se hicieron. Pero en mi vida sí ha visto que los votos se tenían que reafirmar. Entonces mi argumento sigue igual. No hizo mal que estaban los votos de la junta pasada. Entonces, ¿qué sentido? Nuevamente exijo que creo que es se lo digo muy en serio. Aparentemente los necesité hoy. Que me reflejen sobre cuáles son los derechos que tenemos como comunidad, porque yo soy comunidad, no porque que soy diferente. Yo también comparto los derechos. Obviamente ya lo van a reafirmar los votos que fueron mal hechos la última junta, pero sí creo que es muy importante, y lo vuelvo, que en la próxima haga, así como le dedicaron 5 o 10 minutos para nuestros derechos como concejales, sacarlos y cuándo, que ustedes también tengan el derecho, derechos igual, cómo los pueden sacar y cómo no. El hecho que estuvieron allá los oficiales estuvo muy mal. El hecho de que los votos, y a mí me avisaron que ya han empezado la junta para indigente que soy concejal. Entonces, lo que sí les voy a pedir al city manager, for the reaffirmation of, I had made the argument, and you know what my argument all over again, but I think that just as we spent 5-10 minutes the rights of the council, that we have to take them all out, I think that it is very necessary that we also provide them with to their rights as residents of the community when they're attending these meetings. Talk a little bit about the brown. So, ya lo pedí, a ver si tú cosas que pedí obviamente van a
make some comments about, we remind the council to be recognized by the mayor before speaking. That way we address the order. Now that you recognize me, can I speak? This is the reminder, Mayor Pro Tem. Reminder, can I have permission? Please go ahead. The last council meeting, I asked for 3 items to be placed on the agenda, all very. I asked for the homeless topic to be brought. Governor Newsom recently executive order saying counties with state land, county land, and I think city land should be open for our homelessness, and the worst, I really wanted to bring that up to see if it can vouch and just kind of reaffirm that department.
Councilman, I don't mean, the item before us is item number 2, the reaffirmation of those items. Oh, okay. I want to make sure we're staying on top.
That was on the agenda, but then it was tabled. And then one of the second items that I also asked for was a partnership that we have with Homeland Security and the Police Department. Many residents are concerned because market and other neighboring cities that the police, but we needed to give the chief to explain it's not the case. When that item was taken, it was actually happening, had the opportunity to speak. And for those reasons, I feel that those two very, the chief on the behalf of the department and what is happening with that agreement, and we should have been able to talk about an executive order that is placing on the state. The only item that made itself is the item of the pool, right? And the reason this made itself back, it was because the city manager, the council just realized that there was a grant coming up for there, which I already, but because no due diligence, they just want to place cases behind closed doors. Now items are tabled. So that we're working with ICE, which
They need to stay on topic,
and that is the topic. Information so that those are the items that were tabled for the reaffirmation. The reaffirmation of I'm sorry, you know, this is what happened last time. You don't like
your first.
City manager, can I ask you a question? Were three items not tabled? That company?
Mayor Pro Tem, I believe there were more than three.
So it was, exactly, so those three reaffirmations are part of that item, so if you can tell our leaders, can please let me finish, because I'm not doing anything wrong. Anyway, so now I just want you guys to know what's happening. As you guys continue to move forward, I want you to be aware the items are being tabled, and understand that every agenda that is not something community. And that's what I have to say about that.
Mayor, members of the City Council, if I may just briefly comment on this item. So this was an item that I brought back to the council. Let me explain why. At the last we're here, the meeting to a point where we couldn't conduct. And under the, we are allowed to clear the if we're unable to get control of chambers. At the last meeting I gave, I believe it was 2 warnings to everybody in the business. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. People were selling and his team lots of. At that point, we had no other choice but to. And I everybody in their free time can look at they'd like. The Brown Act. Government Code Section 54957.6 allows a city council to clear a chamber if they're unable to keep control of the audience, which is exactly what happened. As I said, I gave 2 warnings. Either warning was heeded by, and so we cleared the chamber. It was my decision. We did, under the Brown Act, with the requirement that we allow members of the media to stay in council chambers. Were here, but they were more than welcome to stay. The reason I'm on the agenda, which is agenda item number 2 on the consent, is said that we violated the Brown Act at the last meeting, which I've members of the City Council. That violation actually occurred at the last meeting. This is just our way to items back. All of you to make public comment on the items that were previously. There was only one public comment, and it had nothing to do, I understand it, with item number 2. So actually, we're being, because we're being a second time, to give you the opportunity to make public comment on those items. So if there's anyone to blame for bringing this item back, and I have an obligation to the council to ensure that the law is followed, power that we are in an open and transparent manner, and that's what this was attempted to do. So I just want to make that clear for the record. Obviously, the opinion of council, she and I have had conversations about he disagrees with me, and I respect him.
I want to point out residents that I hope, as you heard from the city attorney, I think there's disagreements in the opinion of different council members. At the end of the day, remember that we need to be friendly to each other, and we need to keep order so that we can get along and continue to work. Point that out, because without order, it's really hard to get the...
Mayor, may I speak? Yes, you may. You know, again, como dijo el abogado, es una opinión, pero como todos sabemos, los abogados son diversos. La opinión de un abogado, y por eso sí, diferentes discursos referentes a de la última junta. No es fácil y sencillo. Si no hay nada mal hecho, ¿por qué tenemos que reafirmar algo? Si todo se hizo bien, siempre hay opiniones diferentes de lo que no estuvo bien. Si se hizo bien, ¿por qué tenemos que hacerlo de nuevo? Es mi pregunta sencilla, ¿no? Tengo respeto al abogado. Su opinión, sí creo que se violaron los derechos de nuestros residentes. No creo, sé que se violaron los derechos de nuestros residentes. Que para un futuro, he digo por tercera vez, es importante que sus derechos los conozcan. Entonces, ya lo pido una vez, lo pido una cuarta vez, que para la próxima junta, esta sesión, igual se tomen el tiempo de explicar a todos nosotros. Gracias.
Other comments by the council?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, you may.
have a translation. Okay.
As the attorney said, but attorneys have different opinions. Different attorneys have, and that is why we have had this conversation regarding the last meeting. My argument is regarding whether things were done right. We have whether things were done right. But if they were done right, then why do we have to do it? That's my question. I do not agree with his opinion regarding, I know that the residents' rights were violated. So, again, for the board, asking that at the next meeting, we take the time to give all of us a refresher, both the residents and even myself, on what are the rights of the residents. Thank you.
And Mayor, members of the City Council, you're welcome.
Councilmember Martinez?
Yeah, that was my only... More education that we can get and that we can share with you. So I encourage everyone to come. I'm going to be bringing in an item in order to educate people on their rights. I think that's... I don't know about anything though. There's a conspiracy theory here or something. There's nothing. And it's a great idea to have an education. That makes me happy.
And Council, if you'd like, what we could do is a community meeting outside of a meeting, and my firm can bring in refreshments and food, and we can have, a good presentation on everybody. Free of charge. Do it free of charge. The community.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Lo que acaba de impresionante, está ofreciendo una sesión separado, pidan cena, por favor. Y tener, yo creo que eso lo indicado, por favor, en serio, el señor, estamos súper buenos. Muchísimas gracias, te lo agradezco. Claro que aceptamos. Y por favor, todas las personas presentes hagan de presente sumamente importante que conozcan y tengan su tema.
Y tienes que traer esta madre.
So Mayor, if I may ask the city manager to put something on the city website and select a date for us to do a public presentation for everyone on the nuts and bolts of, we'll be there.
Sure thing.
Try to keep them.
What we'll do is poll the council members to check availability and the...
Available anytime and any day. Need to ask.
And that would be the next step, just making sure everybody hears something, we'll as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike. Seeing that there's
I'll go ahead and move to reaffirm City Council action 20. May I have a second?
Second.
Successor, roll call, City Clerk.
Council members Marcena,
Yes.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Flores,
Yes, that vote passes with one being a no for Mayor Pro Tem Flores. Now we're gonna go ahead and move to 8, Councilmember Acevedo, you have the floor.
I just want to abstain.
One abstention on the record. Does any council member have any additional comments on this item? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and move to approve. May I have a second?
Actually, do you mind for our attorney? Reason why is abstaining from this, why we on this, I might need to abstain as well.
My recommendation is that you should.
Yes, I'll abstain from this item.
Yeah, just so I can sort of clear things up on this. Typically, when the city is within 500 feet of the project, there's an assumption that of interest. So the smart thing to do is to abstain from the vote, which is right now. So I would recommend, so if you live within that distance, you do abstain from the vote. Thank you.
Perfect. So we're going to do abstentions. Councilmember Marco Barcena. Again, I'll have a second. I'll second. And then with the remaining council.
Councilmember Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mayor
Yes.
Cortez.
Yes. So this item, 3 votes in favor and 2 abstentions. Thank you. Member Acevedo, again, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And that was taken care of by the discussion I had with you.
So go ahead and move to approve the item. May I have a second?
I have a correction for my own information.
Email I got was a different backup to what it actually is, so.
Thanks.
You will second, I move. Any, seeing none, that, and lastly, item number 14, Councilmember Acevedo.
On, just want to make sure that approving today is this particular firm in handling the public record request that we had that conflicts potentially our current law firm, and that we're not entering into anything else beyond that at this particular time.
Yes, Councilmember Acevedo, I would confirm that. The sole purpose of this is to handle a specific public records request issue. And nothing further.
Any additional questions, Councilmember?
In the verbiage, it's anticipated to be short-term in nature, but have become necessary for a longer period of time. Are we going to isolate it to a single event, or are we going to just leave it general like that?
Mayor Pro Tem, our intent was to engage Vestas and Krieger for one singular public records request. That issue is still ongoing, and when that issue, we would not continue.
Any additional questions? Okay, seeing none, I'll go ahead and move to approve this item. May I have a second? Second. Any objections by the council? Seeing none, the motion passes. Manager, we item number.
Mayor Cortez, this item is a tag along to the external commission before the council at the last meeting. Committee's update. Our city clerk has put together a list that which exists for the external commissions and review, and also to create a council policies ad hoc committee, which is not correct. you'll see there's agenda council. And the first on those calls to an ad hoc committee. With that, I'll turn it over to our city, provide a list to the council for this discussion.
Thank you, City Manager. The ad hoc committee was formed to gain insight and information for a specific objective. So before you tonight, I put a matrix up on the screen. I'll kind of briefly go through descriptions of each one. The first one is the Aquatic Center Ad Hoc Committee. They meet as needed. The sole purpose is to provide feedback regarding and program elements of the Bell Gardens Aquatic Center. Currently, we have two members, council members, Barcelona, and then we have department staff and design engineers also that are part of this. One is the Complete Count Act, and the committee is comprised of private local governments and community leaders or organizations to increase awareness and residents to respond to. And on this ad hoc committee are Alejandra Cortez, the mayor, Jennifer Rodriguez. The third one is the Sidewalk Vending Ad Hoc Committee, and they also meet as needed. The Sidewalk Vending Ad Hoc Committee to review new legislation and come up with a local ordinance. So the two councils that are on this ad hoc committee are the last one is the Rent Control Ad Hoc Committee. They also needed, and they provide feedback from all members of the population, including lack of affordable housing and the rise of estate affecting all members of the community. And the two council members that are on the ad hoc committee, council members Rodriguez and Mayor Cortez. I'm available if you have any questions.
I remember last time we were having a discussion, and Councilmember Aceituno, you mentioned that you have a very important expertise in this area that you'd be able to provide more to this conversation. So I was wondering if you would like to take my spot for the Rent Control Ad Hoc Committee.
Yeah, sure.
So I will Aceituno, and we'll do the nominations, and in the end, then we'll just do one swift vote, unless I have multiple.
I would like to make a nomination to Alejandra to be part of the replacing the chef floor.
I'm going to go ahead to keep the same. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and establish for council, to develop council policy, and I would like to nominate Councilmember Barcena for that ad hoc committee.
I accept.
Councilmember Aceituno, would you be interested in forming part of that ad hoc?
Not sure at this time. Can I get back to you?
Yes, so in the meantime, then I'd like to nominate, and if you get back to it, then that change. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take it from the motion for the Aquatic Centers Ad Hoc Committee. Nomination is for myself to Mayor Pro Tem Flores, and then since Councilmember Barcena serves as the first, I'll go ahead and second the nomination, and we can take that to a roll call. City Clerk?
Councilmembers Aceituno, Rodriguez, Mayor Pro Tem Flores, and Mayor Cortez.
Yes, so that motion carries with a 3-2 vote, 2 noes from Councilwoman Rodriguez and 1 from Mayor Pro Tem Flores. Next, I'll go change, actually, there was no nomination for the Rent Control Ad Hoc Committee. So I'll do one motion to approve Mr. Aceituno and the Rent Control Ad Hoc Committee and Barton and Cortez for the Council Policy Ad Hoc Committee. So I'll go ahead and move. May I have a second?
I'll second.
And then if we could take that to a roll call, please.
Councilmembers Aceituno,
Yes.
Marcena,
Yes.
Rodriguez, Mayor Pro Tem Flores, and Mayor Cortez.
Yes, so that vote passes with 3-2 with 2 noes from Councilwoman Rodriguez and 1 from Mayor Pro Tem Flores. City Manager, will you please announce the next item?
I have, we voted on this, but I have a comment, can that be announced?
On the next item?
No, on the ad hoc.
Go ahead.
Sí, quiero que comprendan lo que está pasando. Obviamente, han removido a Lisset del comité de la formación de la alberca, algo que ella ha trabajado mucho, se ha dedicado mucho, ha hecho bastantes estudios, se ha pasado ella en la computadora y le he visto por horas tratando de traer mejorías a la alberca. Y me decepciona un poco, no me sorprende, quiero aclarar lo que está pasando aquí. Esto ya era esperado. Es todo el patrón de conducta que he estado informándoles, ¿no? Pero sí me preocupa algo, y les voy a explicar por qué. Nuestra alcaldesa ahora ya se quiere nominar como la que está aquí. Comisiones, 2 o 3 comisiones creo que ella abandonó, porque primero las exigió y después los abandonó. Uno se lo dejó a Pedro, otro se lo dejó a Marcos, y el otro iba cuando quería, o a veces se aparecía o no, y le para que quisiera a eso. Entonces mi pregunta es esta. No estoy haciendo nada con la alberca, más lo que dice los otros concejales no están presentes. Alejandra es una alcaldesa ausente y buen motivo, está yendo a la universidad y se está preparando, aplauso para ella, ¿no? Pero eso desafortunadamente ahorita no le está ayudando a nuestra comunidad. A ella le dio el comité de la alberca, no fue estado acá, pero ahora ella está representando un tema tan importante. Ha quitado a la persona que más se ha dedicado y hecho para que este proyecto se termine. Eso es eso no es democracia, es una violación de sus derechos. Eso se lo están quitando a sus hijos. ¿Por qué? Por motivos egoístas. La única que yo miré este proyecto, ¿por qué? Ella ahorita se van a ver al estar acá, y el trabajo ya pueden salir de ti. Ahorita van a mirar la presentación de muchos de trabajo que el ICES hizo. Quiero darle su crédito.
I want you to understand, I want you all to understand what happened here. I was removed from the Aquatic Center Committee. She has worked extremely hard. She has been very dedicated. Studied this for working for hours on the computer to try to changes to the community for this. And so this, I'm seeing a pattern of conduct, but it's starting to worry me. What worries me is that the mayor has now been put onto the committee for the Aquatic Center, but she's been on several committees abandoned. Turned one of them over to modern, another whenever she wanted to, and go other times, then they had to start calling me. As far as I can tell, nothing has really happened with the Aquatic Center except for what Lisa, and very busy right now, and she is she is furthering her education. That is fabulous, but it means that she's really absent. And so now she's on this committee for the Aquatic Center, and that happened by removing the person who has done the most to advance. And so this is not fair. This is about your rights. And she's doing this for completely. Why is she doing it? She's doing it to take all of the work that Lisa has done and then take the credit for it. See what I got done in the city.
Esta sí me la voy a echar en español porque tiene los audífonos, entonces para que no aquí. Yo trabajé en esa alberca por más de esa alberca la de tiempo cuando eran los concejales que estaban aquí que otras personas eran parte de este consejo y yo decidí correr y dejé mi trabajo que me pagaban muy bien, dejé mi trabajo para ser concejal para gastar el tiempo. Yo no a mis amigos o a mis amigas hice sacrificio en términos de mi carrera para estar aquí. Ahora, acabamos de leer en el principio de la Junta las reglas aquí oficiales de este, ¿verdad? Una de esas reglas es no atacarnos. Es muy fácil apuntar el dedo a las personas o tú le estás robando esto a esta persona. ¿Ustedes creen para que yo o otros colegas míos se pongan a cosas malas de otras personas? Pero no es el punto el punto es que estamos aquí para trabajar en orden y mantener ustedes yendo a su trabajo donde les estén atacando ahí o que ustedes estén atacando a otras personas. Ese medio ambiente es horrible para las personas y me gustaría que aquí cambiara todo porque aunque yo puedo decir yo cojo no hacer eso porque eso el medio ambiente de mis otros colegas concejales. Entonces quiero invitar a todos a busquen lo positivo y si hay algo muy negativo pregúntense por el mensaje que les quiero dar a los gracias.
I'd like to go ahead and... Oh, go ahead.
I am Spanish because I know that there are lots of people who don't have the earphones, and I really want you all to understand what's happening. Like 15 years ago when I was in high school, and it was very much neglected by some people who are still here on this council. I to become a city council member. I am not here to do favors for friends or give work to friends or family. I sacrificed to be on this council, and I did it to work for the community. We read for the meeting, and was that we not attack each other. If you say you don't do anything or you're someone else, and we could all if we wanted to, but our job is to conduct the business of the city in an amicable way. And just imagine if you went to work every day and with everyone fighting and attacking each other. I choose not to do that, to do business that way, because it ruins the working and nothing gets done.
Here, Mayor Pro Tem. There's a lot of things I would like to, talk about, but I think these are very brief. You know, Martin Luther King said, the something is essential. Speak for yourself because someone else can speak better for you. Go ahead and do that. Political agenda. Because if my colleagues can either, obviously the best person to continue to work on the school as I've done before. The community I've done, what I continue. The school would have, as you will see in the next time, restrooms, non-binary restrooms, not people with no gender or whatever identification that have restrooms. Things that somebody like me who has worked on and have experienced it will continue to represent and do. But it's okay. This is about humility here too. And it's okay for me to turn it over to somebody else. And at the end of the day, the people that are going to benefit are the constituents who elected me, and they're the ones that are going to have everything that I wanted for them and that they asked me for. That have a legislative indoor swimming pool, by the way, nobody was on board with. At the beginning, it was only Jennifer. Then we changed it up and finally. So those are the things. I'm very proud of my work, and at the end of the day, like I said, the day that I can specifically explain to them what's going on with that pool, I designed it. Everybody else is going to have to say taxes. With that, guys, have a blast with it. I wish you the best. My son and me are going to be there using that tool, and I want what's best for my community, aside of whatever your
Madam Mayor, if I may.
You may.
I want for the pool, I brought value to the project. It's not, just because we're changing the president doesn't mean that someone has value.
I think their value is more because you're giving yourself.
Sorry, we need to respect Councilmember Martin.
This is because who's been working together, and the decision that we're making today to change the committee is only because we feel that it will give better results for the community. I'm not going to get into details, start to ask, oh, what is it that there's no point. There's no point in arguing up here, like I said. If you guys are interested in learning about the pool. Ma'am, deliberations of the council. I was about to say that if anybody wants to learn about the pool, I'm here for you guys. Now, come to my office, good hours showing you the work that we've done. So, yes, you guys are always welcome. You're welcome at my office, or I'll go to your house too. Yes, I'll tell you right there because, but you know, we have so many things on the agenda. Please connect with me after the meeting. I'm here to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Council policy on adding items to the agenda. As you at this last meeting, it seems like a simple subject, but when we talk about effectiveness and efficiency, I think I can attest to this. So probably spending 40 to 50% of our time should or should not be able to come onto this agenda. The idea here is to set a policy, starting point at the ad hoc committee. Clear for staff, clear for the council. With that, I'll turn it over to City Attorney staff. Mark, discuss some of the options that have been provided here by the City Attorney's office.
Thank you, City Manager. Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, Mark Trant from the City Attorney's office. As the City Manager mentioned, potential City Council policies regarding adding items to the agenda. So, based on direction received, the City Attorney's Office researched and developed 3 potential policies regarding adding items to the Council to consider. The following policy options attempt to strike a balance, including transparency, efficiency, and responsiveness to City Council objections. So, proposed resolution number 1 has components. First, council member to add an item during city council comments after obtaining a city council. Also, it allows the mayor to add important or time-sensitive agenda items to the upcoming agenda if, in her discretion, deems it necessary for the continued operation to properly conduct city business. Number 2, 3 key features. A city council member to add a new item to the upcoming agenda during city council member comments after obtaining a majority vote of the city council. Second, it allows the city council member to add a new item by submitting a request to the city manager in writing 14 days in advance of a regular city council meeting. Under this option number 2, each city council member may submit up to one request in writing for a single upcoming meeting. Third, it allows the mayor to add important or time-sensitive agenda items to the upcoming agenda if, in her discretion, she deems it necessary for the continued operations of the city or to properly conduct city business. The third option presented to the council tonight is a mix of the first. First, it allows the city council to add a new item during city council member comments or the vote of the city council. Second, a city council member may add an item in advance of an upcoming meeting. Under this option 3, each council member may submit a request in writing. It allows the mayor to add important agenda if, in her discretion, necessary for the continued operation of the city or to properly conduct. I've also included a comparison chart. It's not as nice as the city clerk's chart. It's here for your use. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions from the council.
Yes, I have a question. Yo quiero, acá, ¿verdad? Lo que está pasando acá, yo estoy ahorita, aparentemente hoy en el concilio estoy en la minoría. No puedo ahorita, por ejemplo, en este caso no pude mantener a mi expresión de mi preocupación que se quedara ella en la comisión esa de la siempre está. No importa. Cuando ustedes residentes vienen conmigo sus preocupaciones, por ejemplo, de las banquetas, lo que hay en las calles, la falta de estacionamiento, me traen sus preocupaciones, lo que ustedes y nosotros estamos viviendo. Yo puedo venir y tengo el derecho ahorita para dialogar. Me quita todo derecho, entonces ¿para qué estoy acá? Porque si yo estoy en la minoría, no le conviene que yo la marihuana, simplemente lo cancelo, no tengo la mayoría. Para poder representarlos, tengo que pedir permiso para poner algo en la agenda, ya la señora simplemente ¿qué dice? Lo otro, tengo que dar un documento 14 días en avanzado para que algo se considere. Quiero hacer una última pregunta. Quiero saber si estamos en un gobierno que se llama teocracia, dictadura, república, aristocracia. ¿En qué se está convirtiendo Bel Garden? ¿En una dictadura? Donde la mayoría de la minoría, que somos nosotros, porque yo me considero más que concejal, me considero persona que vivo en Bel Garden y soy más activista que lo que soy concejal. Me están si me dicen, ¿sabes qué, Jennifer? Te digo por experiencia, porque aquí cuando estaban muchos concejales también hubieron ciertos proyectos que yo pensé en la comunidad, como la unidad de 7 casas que se aprobaron. ¿Qué pasa? Como estaba en la minoría, el proyecto pasó y ahora ni siquiera la agenda va a llegar. ¿Qué es esto? Nunca ni esto, donde monopolizar el derecho de ustedes, donde una persona puede determinar qué es lo que se va a escuchar. Y aquí, señor Marcos, no estoy haciendo ataques personales. La verdad, lo que está pasando aquí. Una democracia donde ustedes me dicen, yo represento a ustedes. Mi pregunta es, el tiempo que ha pasado en este año, todas las que empezaron durante campaña, yo les prometí tratar de cumplirlas, créanme. Traté de poner en la agenda. A consecuencia de eso me llamaron inhumana. A consecuencia de eso, sabía lo que estaba haciendo. Ellos no trabajan de esa manera, ellos trabajan de otra manera. Pero mi pregunta es, alcaldesa, no, sí, sí, o era algo neutral, género neutral, o sea que yo no estoy atacando esto como un ataque, porque aquí la persona que ha puesto más ha sido Lizeth y yo, y le preguntan a nuestra alcaldesa, en el año que ha estado usted aquí, ¿qué ha puesto en la... Por eso la importancia de que el policía cosas en la agenda que son preocupaciones de nuestra comunidad, hablando de armas, personas que realmente están peleando por cómo se hace en un gobierno. Esto es la agenda, qué mal está. Los que nos eligen son ustedes, y los que representamos son ustedes, no una persona. Una persona no debe me llama y me dice que alguien se cayó y yo quiero poner algo en la agenda que se trata del levantamiento de las banquetas, porque de ella no lo miró urgente. Ella no puede decirme que no puedo poner algo en la agenda que es de homeless, como dijeron, ya tantas veces lo hemos puesto y no hemos resuelto nada, pues por eso lo sigo trayendo, porque no se ha resuelto nada. Entonces digo, esto que se está haciendo es, no es que señor Ibarri. Ya, ok. Esto es lo que se está haciendo hoy. Se están quitando mis derechos como concejal de poder representarlos efectivamente. Se me puede poner el permiso, porque obviamente aquí el pedir permiso es sumamente importante. No es ética, simplemente pedir permiso para ciertas personas. Pero lo pido por ustedes. Es importante para ustedes que yo tener que pedir permiso. Esto es ridículo. Pedir permiso, pedir 14 días para yo poder poner algo en la agenda. Es ridículo, porque a mí las preocupaciones de nuestra comunidad me llegan 3 días antes, 2 días antes, una semana antes. Ahora me llegan fotitos de cosas que han pasado en la ciudad, accidentes que han pasado, situaciones que han pasado. Pero ahora yo voy a tener que pedir permiso para poder representarlos. ¿Tiene sentido eso para ustedes? Para mí no lo tiene.
Yes, Councilmember.
So,
Oh, I'm sorry, you're ready.
Oh, yeah.
You're ready if you want to. And what's going on, right? You see, I'm on city council, but I'm in the minority. And so I was not able to on the committee, even though the mayor is gone all the time at school. When people come to you, when you all come to me with your concerns, like sidewalks that are speeding on your street, lack of parking, you're letting me know your concerns, the things that you are living through. I put those things on the agenda, but now all my rights are being taken because if the majority doesn't want it to go on the agenda, then I can't do it. I have to ask permission, and if she's not happy with me, she can just say no. And 14 days ahead, that's ridiculous to be able to make a request in writing 14 days ahead. there are lots of different kinds of governments. There's theocracies, there are democracies, there are dictatorships, there's fascism. What is Bell Gardens turning into? Are we turning into a dictatorship? Because that takes the rights away from the community, and I consider myself a member of the community first. I'm more of a community activist even than I am a councilwoman, and they're tying my hands. This happened, I'm telling you this from experience, because this happened before. There was a project that I objected to, where 45 homes were going to be built in a contaminated area. And I objected, but there was nothing I could do, and it went through. And now this is even worse. I've never seen anything like this in Bell Gardens in the history. And I'm not making a personal attack on anyone. I'm just stating the facts. A dictatorship. My question is, when I have been given the community, it turns to me during my campaign, and I promised that I would put these things on the agenda and I would deal with, but I can't. They're calling me names. They're calling me crazy. Those council members don't work the way I do. But if you notice, when these are everything, her, not he or she, not a neutral pronoun. Over this last year, most of the items, the people who have put the most items on the agenda have been Lisette, and in this last year, what has the mayor? Hardly anything. So why am I being restricted? It's control me. It's a way to control. And it's wrong, because you all are the people who are supposed to be one person ruling the whole city. If it says that you found an item on the agenda, the sidewalk, or they can just say, bring up the homeless. We've had it on too many times before. We don't need it again. They're taking all of my rights as a city council member to be able represent you effectively. They're saying I have to ask and massage someone's ego, but I'll do it because it's more important than my pride sitting up here. But asking for a written request 14 days in advance, that's ridiculous. 3 or 4 days before the meeting, and now I'm being told that I can't put anything like that on the agenda. This is
Mayor, if I may.
You may.
I'm going to do it in, I really don't want to take an hour, but I wish I could do it in Spanish. I've been working, like I said, since I was in high school. In my last 10 years working in the city, I wrote agenda, I made presentations here. The policy of having a deadline 14 days before has been ever since I can remember. This particular deadline is not new. The problem here is that we've been having issues with the agenda, and a lot of the times those items, they don't really have substance. Let me tell you, just because I say that a lot of the residents, I'm not talking in general, I'm saying, don't come talk to me in regards to you're like, people are being, is the marijuana thing. There's this conspiracy, we're trying to in, nobody has come and talked to me about that. I wish that we had a plan, but it's all lies, guys. It's just lies. Let me tell you something. The 14-day deadline, the 14 days, that has already been implemented. So that is not drastic. Oh my God, 14 days. But that's very cities. Attorneys in the surrounding vicinity with policy.
For Mark and I, the city of Cudahy has a similar policy, and mind, but beyond that, as a general matter, all of the cities that I've worked with have some form of policy that determines add an item to the agenda, and it's for the purpose of streamlining and increasing staff using city resources.
Thank you. So I think what I'm trying to get at is that what we're trying to do is we're trying to stream so that we can be more efficient, so that we can reduce the items that don't need to be at the agenda. For example, if you come and talk a sidewalk that has that's sticking out, it's uneven, and it's a hazard, contact directly that thing. We'll go and fix it as soon as possible. It's not necessary to schedule an agenda. The homeless, it's a really important something to be discussed. Actual that we want to, I know that we want to request additional support, but how do we actually do that? See, and I think that's our job as council members, is to bring items to the agenda when we actually have to direct staff on how to accomplish that goal, rather than just bring it up. Just again, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to attack anyone here. I'm trying to keep it friendly, but sometimes I'll go back and not tell you guys the truth.
I'm so sorry, no, I want to say, you already had the time. Who represents? Who represents Carajay? Okay, so it's the same policy that you represented over there in past year, lo mismo. Okay.
A little different.
Okay, a little bit different. Muy bien, el argumento era que como esta es la de nuestros abogados para ustedes, ahora referente a los temas que no tienen, que me atacan, que me están obviamente para mí. Aunque digan que no tiene sustancia, la agenda no se hace oficial. Muchas veces tenía no se hacía, llevaba, no se hacía nada. Hasta que dije, no, pues tengo que comunicarme. Era más eficaz que encontré. Entonces, lo que Marco dice, causa sin sustancia, afectamos, inventando, por ejemplo, mencionó lo del homeless. Hay personas que están siendo afectadas el tema ese de los homeless 2 o 3 veces este año. Porque recibí varias quejas que habían indigentes que se metían a sus casas, que se metían a sus casas y les robaban, que si pueden la actividad adulta, pueden oler cuando están fumando marihuana o meth, que la familia puede irse de sus casas, porque están esas personas viviendo por un lado de ellos. Eso no es sustancia. Entonces, ¿qué es lo que tengo que hacer? Y esperarme a ponerlo en la agenda. Eso, señor Marcos, es una sustancia. Cuando, ¿sabes? Muchas veces dicen, cuando no te duele, afecta. Cuando no lo has vivido, no te daña. Si a mí me dicen que es algo que le está preocupando a una persona, lo voy a traer. Hace como 2 semanas, y se los mandé, creo. Una señora me mandó su hija una foto. Y aquí está, mira, para que vean que no miento. La señora, esa queja que trae aquí, no se arregló, se cayó de cara. Y no es que yo mire una calle. Lo que yo estoy viendo es que es un problema que está en toda la comunidad. Es mirar el problema, cómo vamos a resolverlo. El problema es resuelto por completo. Y bueno, sin sustancia. Ahora, mentir. Yo sé que algunos de ustedes están acá que me han llamado y me han expresado preocupaciones. Al llamarme a mí mentirosa, ustedes mentirosos. Porque ustedes son los que están quejando. De falta de respeto. Una cosa más, la calle Spec. Muchas personas ahí me han traído sustancias, antes dejamos en eso. Son cosas que tienen sustancias. esos problemas, Marco.
If I may, Mayor, I just want to, go ahead. Sorry about that. First.
The argument was, what other city has a similar policy and the same firm represents Canada, so policy and with all due respect to the law firm. Items without any substance. This isn't an attack, but they're obviously referring to me. Why am I doing this? Because if I don't put something on the agenda, there is no action. I've tried other ways to deal with these things. I've tried other ways to get results, and it hasn't worked. These things, substance, they're things that affect you all. It's because it affects you all. I've 3 times in the last year because you have told me that people come onto your property and poop marijuana or meth when they're engaging in adult activities. Should I just ignore it then, or wait 14 days? Says have no substance. They're saying that I don't think it's important. Regarding the sidewalk, a picture. Her daughter sent me a picture, and I have it. You can see it if you want to, because this lady fell on her face. And it's because that complaint that had no substance was never fixed. And I'm not just bringing up things to try to fix one street, trying to deal with problems that we have in the whole community and fix them in general. You say this has no substance. Lying. When they call me a liar, they're really calling you all liars, because you all are me, and it's a total lack of the matter of Spec Street. It's substantial because you all bring this to me, and I am just looking for a process and a system to be able to solve all these problems. Thank you.
Councilmember, I believe, before we move on, I do want to point rules of order for City Council. Just a brief refresher for council members shall be allowed 6 minutes for general and agenda items. Members should not be allowed to discuss another time council member. However, each council member has 3 minutes following a motion on the floor. So again, we just want to stick to these parameters. Efficient conversation. As of now, Councilwoman Rodriguez, I allow you to go twice, so hopefully that is noted on the record. From this, can we please time council 6 minutes per item?
If I can, Mayor, I also just want to point out that all these are brought these proposals to you. I think we've heard from Councilmember Rodriguez about some of her concerns These are that we have pulled from some of the other and from other cities within LA County. Now, the council, it's up to them whether they want to adopt what's before them as is, or if they want to make some recommendations in terms of how we can maybe make the policy fit in the city of Bell Gardens. So we are here really just presenting these proposals to you, and we're looking for the purpose. I can guarantee you it is not to silence any here. What is the purpose of it? Just to have some efficiency preparation. Items come in at the last minute, and their staff need to prepare in order to for the city council. And sometimes that what I'm trying to do is that will help staff, that will help my office present items thought out. There's lots of logic behind them. There's a purpose behind them. The way we've been is we're just kind of last minute to the agenda, and it causes a lot of staff and others. We may not necessarily understand specifically what the council member is asking, or in many cases, we don't have the time to prepare the item. So that's really the purpose of these policies, and again, these are here. We're not recommending either 1, 2, or 3. We just want whether or not you like any of them that are being proposed, if you want to amend them, it's up to us.
Councilmember Barton, you have some comments? No? And also for city manager, just for the benefit of, we have accidents or problems with our constituents, we have the availability to resolve these issues. So, I mean, I'm sure several of us have texted you with regards to residents' concerns, whether it's, whether it's a driveway or issues that, but if it is a true emergency, then you have the authority and power to without it having to come to council.
Yes, Mayor, generally speaking.
My question for you, Mike, is on average, how long do you prepare a report for to be able to disseminate this information to council?
Yeah, so Mayor, if I can maybe talk globally on the agenda. So the council, as part of budget adoption and many other actions throughout the year, indicates and directs staff to perform oftentimes these are grant requirements, issues regarding funding that we get from the state, from taxes, things of that nature. Items that staff are more routine in nature. Every year we get funding for streets, we bring to issue bids, we bring it back for contracts, et cetera, et cetera. Are prepared in advance. I would say probably on average, depending on the type of item, probably 20 hours of staff time, somewhere in that, from somebody drafting up the item, running it through the system, having approvals, making it published with all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. So just a random number, 20 half hours.
That this is the only item that staff is working on, right?
One item of substance, yes.
Okay, Mark, if you the pronoun she or her was used during the presentation.
So principles of statutory interpretation allow us to read pronouns to be inclusive, individual person. For example, most laws use masculine pronouns, and if we were then 52% of the to be, in the contract. For you in the resolutions that I drafted and presented to the council today, and if I may also address the majority vote requirement at this time.
Just one more thing. Thank you so much for being inclusive of the female population and changing the pronoun to she. I know of our legal documents are still written in the he version, which I find it very I don't like it, but I'm glad we're making this change in the legal field, so thank you again. This is not specific because I'm mayor here, as we are on a rotation when it comes to mayor, so this will apply if there is a male. So it's not, but thank you for that clarification.
I have a question for the city manager. City manager, let's say, electric sidewalks. Calls approximately have you received from me that there were lifted sidewalks?
I could even.
Okay, well,
of course. Concerns pretty.
and then because I felt that no action that would again assure our community. The homeless issue. Brought to with you or brought to your attention the fact that I was getting
And numerous times, Councilman.
and then I brought that to the agenda. How many times did you think twice? So, what they call que no tiene sustancia, que es lo que puse acá y mi habilidad que ya hizo una ya traje la atención de como me los invento y también cuando pongo solamente porque en esa junta, pero lo pongo para que se haga oficial. El problema es que quiero aclarar. No espero que el personal que está haciendo para que deje de 20, 30 horas, ¿no? Que empiecen a poner atención al problema, algo que tal vez algunos de los aquí no puede hacer porque obviamente están ocupados con eso. Dejen de hacer lo que están haciendo, que se resuelve el problema, no necesitan, pero preocupaciones que han expresado.
I would like to propose a motion to approve the proposal. The motion on the floor. We'll go ahead and take Mayor Pro Tem's comments, and then we'll move.
Didn't we just vote on something like this very recently?
There was Mayor Pro Tem, I apologize, discussion, I believe, at the October 9th meeting, where there was verbal discussion in the council and also at the city as far as following the line, but it's very subjective and, it's not anything described as such. So, discussed, it was, I'm sure it's contained in the minutes back in October, but I think
There was
it's
also a
more.
vote for it.
No, it was just a discussion, respectfully, where it was a general agreement to follow the deadline.
So, for censorship, we were all elected at large. The ballot, and you don't go to vote for a mayor. We vote for who's going to be mayor. You guys just elect your council. So to council members, my audience, my residents is different from what me, right? So who I represent is different of the different residents that I represent. So it doesn't make sense that only one person or a majority is able to put agenda. Imagine that I would have to have put everything I've done on the agenda. My youth employment program, how hard I worked with the municipal guardians girls, everything that I did with the restrooms in the park, that was all me. So if we start censoring the things that I'm doing, then what am I here for? What is the purpose of an absent, senseless person sitting here? That's absolutely ridiculous and wrong. We don't vote for it. This is an at-large thing. We elect who that is. And as the political dynamics change and shift here, it shouldn't affect the residents. And this is definitely going to affect the residents. This is completely, I know that these are just suggestions, but these are all bad suggestions. All of them. The 14 days, that's fine. That doesn't matter to me. I can wait. If it's an urgent matter like the executive order for the governor, maybe it gets on and maybe it's not. If it's for a grant, maybe it's not. That's another discussion. But to have a majority or only the authority of a singular person is absolutely barbaric. When we got elected, I felt like we left the barbarians at the door. But I feel like they're back in. I really do. So I think that as we vote, Marco, you're always talking about how we need to be efficient with time and the things that we're doing. This is a waste of time to even have a discussion that only one person should be allowed, or a vast majority of people should be allowed to place an important item on the agenda. Use it, if I remind you, didn't have the full agenda, the one agenda item for the driveway. It was us who supported you, right? It was don't jump on board. That's the case. So to amend to censor me, community, that's absolutely wrong, and I hope that you guys take that into consideration, because that would be a really bad move for everyone.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Councilmember Barcena, I just want to remind you that we are on a time limit. 3 minutes.
I just want, you don't have to say something, talk about it. Talk about it in the comments, to show how much work you did for it, and you can talk about it during the comments. So, there is a big distinction between what an agenda item should be and then what a talking point could be. If you want to talk about the accomplishments that you've done in the community, you can do that anytime. You don't have to put anything on the agenda. If you want to address the sidewalks that are in bad shape, you can address the sidewalks that are in bad shape without having an agenda item. Usually an agenda item has a lot of background information that was put together by staff or yourself. it usually brings a solution to a specific problem or opens a big discussion with data,
That's not always, Mayor,
With the-
someone needs to respect this time.
with a data-driven, educated about they require a vote from the council because there's already something being proposed. So there's between comments and agenda items.
Just like there's difference between getting things done. So at this, motion stands on the floor, and if other council members want to make any additional motions for any of these policies, please do so at this time. I would like to move to approve, the second proposal. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Can we take that to a roll call, City Clerk?
Councilmember Constantino?
No.
Barcena?
Yes.
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Flores?
No.
And Mayor Cortez.
Yes. So the motion dies on the floor because we didn't, have the sufficient vote.
I'd like to make a motion to, table this item.
Second that. Can table it to the next meeting or the table it? Table it.
Go ahead and, table this item. May I, well, we already have our first and our roll call, please.
Council. Mayor Pro Tem Flores?
No.
And Mayor.
Yes. It passes, and we'll go ahead and table this item.
I'm sorry, was that a full, roll call because I didn't?
Oh, I'm sorry, you made the motion and the second, so therefore, it's taken. So just to clarify on the record, it was seconded by Councilmember Barcena, and there was 2 votes against, which are Councilwoman Rodriguez, Mayor Pro Tem Flores, and I would be the third vote to say yes.
And Mayor, for the, public's, benefit, can you clarify what that motion does? Since, 3 of us voted in favor of, tabling the item and 2 voted, in essence, against that item?
So the yes vote for this item, with regard to your motion to table, is to end the discussion for this item at this moment and possibly move it to a next council agenda item for council. The 2 no, table the item and continue discussing the agenda item. I'm not too sure why there were no votes, but that's what I'm assuming. A no vote means no to table the item. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and recess for, how much do you think you need? 10 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and recess for 10 minutes to allow for our interpreter to take a break. Tengo la verificación más proceso de 10 minutos. Cuando estemos listos, yo voy a llamar a la junta otra vez. Gracias.
I'm an engineer. You can take those.
Johnny,
I'm taking it, I can hear twice. Political behavior and motivations would be great. I'm taking it now, Part of it is called politics.
Come back, we're about to resume our... Okay, I would like to resume our city council. The audience can please quiet. City manager, next discussion item.
Thank you, Mayor. This next item is multifaceted. It's an of update. Also informed council of a potential funding opportunity that the council should consider. Our Recreation Community Services Director has a presentation that she'll provide to you, and I just want to say there's been some discussion of the Aquatic Center. There's been a lot of last year. We're getting to a point where we're looking at funding sources. We would not be competitive for Prop 68 money park, which was one of the major funding contemplated by this council and my staff for over the last year. We confirmed that with the state. There was our grant consultant strategies was up in Sacramento. We had a conference call with our staff here and identified.
One second. Members of the audience, if you're please do ask you respect chambers, just so that we can all clearly hear our report and thank you.
So I'll just finish this for you. I want to say there is a funding opportunity that has come up that is one that the city should take up. It's an option. It presents an option where aquatic center that is missing one, that's but what it does, but if you don't put in for this opportunity, and we know it's competitive for that, and so it's going to be staff's recommendation to consider that. To say that that's a significant option. It doesn't mean that that's the only thing you can do. You can apply for paying for an option by putting the time and effort into it. And you could always so with that, I'll turn it over to the Recreation Community Services.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor, good evening. That is before you this evening is on what is a center. The facility was built in 1959, was originally in Los Angeles, and in 1994, ownership of Hampton Park was transferred to the city. One of the existing facilities was the pool house, which is located on the east side of the park. Facility served its time over 60 years, and throughout the years, there's been several problems that have circulation, the equipment is obsolete, and therefore it was determined a few years ago in 20 that the facility was permanently inoperable and needed to be replaced. I know that the ad hoc committee that was comprised of some engineers and at what ideas and the configuration aspects of building an aquatic. The wisdom to hire a consulting firm to take a look at the facility and to take a look and ask the city what they were interested in. It was the first attempt to get a consensus of what the city, the community wanted. So on December 5th of this team, with staff conducted a community Ford Park. So various info was presented, and there was approximately 20 to 25 people that participated. They discussed what about having center. They discussed some various aspects of what they didn't want to see, and see that they were interested in having an Olympic-sized pool. They wanted to see a recreational slide, splash, spray pool, One was the therapeutic, pool that was talked about by our seniors. They wanted to see more diving boards, I should say, the 3-meter board. The program go year-round, have outdoor picnic areas. They wanted to make we hosted and ran programs such as water polo, dive, swimming teams, and that we conducted aquatic. But what they really wanted was a year-round. Some of the things that weren't at was a cafeteria or deli that was introduced. Instead, they wanted to see, I should go back. So what would a 50-meter pool would look like? It would have and opportunities for, this is an example. Pool, it would have zero depth entry, interactive splash zone, instructional swimming that could accommodate parent and me, all the way up to junior types of classes. The would have warm water, water therapy, and warm water therapeutic exercise. An example of what they were talking about, they had a swim team or water polo team, dry land exercises and stay in tip training. So that was discussed a number of that came. Right now, there's an opportunity to apply for the Land Water Conservation Fund, and this is up to $6 million. It's a $6 million match that the city would give. That would give us $12 million to forward with aquatic facility. We also have $400,000 right now funding to develop the construction documents. So that's where we're at right now. What next steps is to utilize and have $6 million. There's a resolution in your package that we're seeking approval. The city manager stated if it was to change, we could always deny the funds. But initially, in reading the grant, we qualify at this moment for 94% or 94 points out of 100 points. Just with where we would fall short is that we don't have the documents ready to go into. We're also asking to approve the Jones-Matawan for a master plan. And would give us that we would need to move forward. Those documents would include a business plan, a detailed construction budget, a market analysis, and what a year-round operational budget is. I would like to present that in the budget process so that everybody's clearly aware of what it's going to cost us to operate the full basis and that we appropriate those funds. And take that to the ad hoc council for, I'd like to finish those up within the next 30 days. To move as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, we've lost a whole generation of operational for 3 years. So we would like to move forward with pre-qualified and engineers who are aquatic facilities. It's kind of unique and skill that of architecture, that's all they do. council go out for bid. So I'd be happy to entertain any questions.
Yes, I have a few questions. You're proposing that we use Jones and Madison for the master plan?
So the plan is, I would like, some type of a conceptual drawing that residents, have them take a look at what we're proposing.
No, I understand what you're proposing.
Yes.
My question is, you're proposing that this company be the ones that do it.
Yes,
But then we've been working with infrastructure engineers.
the city has contracted in, and Jones Montalban was a contractor to infrastructure,
And what,
22,000.
is anybody from infrastructure engineers here that was gonna maybe give us a cost? Oh, continue.
Sure. Evening, Madam Mayor, members of council. Steve Forster within. Actually, we have been working, Jones and Mott Haven for the original conceptual design. For the new board, there was an additional requirement, if you will, of a larger scale project in the envision of the new council. Through our architectural division, and we have been working on that. Update that particular be at zero cost.
So,
You're with us to do that.
okay, so then this one is costing us 22,000, but you're saying that, because I'm being, is this the company, the one that you're recommending versus the engineering company here?
So, in for a director of infrastructure and ask them if they're of a agreement between indicated that there was no current contract and that signed agreement for any further work.
So my concern is that there will be at no cost, why
Well, again, it's a company, Montalban, that has done aquatic facilities. They have extensive experience in facilities, and I that we them.
So you feel that the company that we have right now, they've been working on the for a while now, so you're saying that you want to go out and take 22,000, working with a company that has been working on projects, but and to do these changes that you're recommending, they're not going to cost us? I just don't, I don't know if I'm not understanding.
This is the first, so I'm not the other.
Yeah, so what, obviously, if infrastructure engineers are gonna be able to produce, product that the director has, is seeking, in this case through Jones and Montalban, if that's at no cost, barring some other, makes sense for us to use the infrastructure engineer, and as long as everything we need in a particular grant.
Position is that they have been modified, and I completely understand that portion of it. However, we've been working with engineers for the last year. They know the exact of the council. I mean, I know before, if they're not charging us, to me, it makes full financial sense. That's $1,000 of taxpayer money on what's already going to be given to us for, I don't want to say a fraction of the cost, but free, right?
But I may add some levity to this. I think what the director asking as part of the job was to come back with some additional information, such as a business model and specific to the aquatic center. Textual renderings, the conceptual plans, things of that nature that we worked on, those are absolutely free through infrastructure. The other parts of the plan would need to be returned back to the council. So choose to have a business accordingly. Need to go with Jones Mott. Would even sub-consult to Jones Mott those particular
put around that. If that makes a
I just don't see how we would need. Just, my opinion is if they've been working on the project, why are we changing unless, if for whatever reason, something that you cannot, whatever the reason that may be, but it doesn't, right now, something that you do at no cost for the city, doesn't make sense to me.
What he just mentioned is true, that the scope is different, and what has been in the past, not what we're requesting in the, so the scope of services is different, and would be a difference in fees, going forward to request that information. That has not been, provided in the past, it has not been.
So, Roseanne, number one issue that I have with this is, I do think it makes sense for the council to approve for us to apply for this grant. This is up on February 2nd, February 3rd. And what I think we should do here is limit this request to those actions that we need to grant and apply for timely. And so I'm not, I think the council probably the plan of it and or if we can use what we already to get this grant applied for.
Mike, thank you for that. So we should probably take the first part of this motion and approve. And with regards to the second one, I think communication, things that haven't been communicated. So that will have to come back. And infrastructure engineers, if you could please communicate with our staff and have a clear line of communication with the project. Information being communicated so that we can all do our due diligence. If that communication can please be clear with regards, because I'm getting here, and it's just also confusing for me. So it's like it's either I want these, I don't want these people, and I think that's just what needs to be clarified. With Roseanne and with our city manager. Here, but Councilor President, you have comments?
Yes, I actually have a few questions. I'm asking this coming up, right? When is the deadline?
The grant is due February 3rd.
Okay, I understand why you're submitting this in the agenda. I would assume that the project that you're going to get the grant needs to satisfy certain.
Yes.
Especially at the facility, right?
Correct.
So what you're trying to do is you're trying to put in place a deadline of a solid proposal to submit, is that?
We have at least a conceptual idea and agree upon the fact that it would need an outdoor facility. The disqualifications of this grant for outdoor recreation purposes. So, an indoor facility qualifies.
Okay, I have a question for our city engineer. City engineer, considering that we can get this at no, will you be able to provide and we did have 3 phases for the phase being, take that back. The first phase being outdoor. Would you be able to package something that would apply for this grant and increase our chances of securing this money? Yes, absolutely. In fact, our kind of will and now. Okay, would you be able to strip away and just make it an outdoor pool so that we don't have any trouble with applying for the grant? Because that if we submit a project that's 3 includes an indoor facility, then that might.
Could any of the facility be in this grant? So,
we have a big vision for the swimming pool, but I also understand the urgency of the swimming pool as soon as possible. I'm sure that somehow we can find a different way of compensating if it's not going to be roofed. I think that whatever it at the time. So just for clarification, because I was aware about this grant. We applied. This is fine. I know that we need it without a roof. That's great.
funding has been completed, this will allow us to go into phase 3 of the,
That's correct.
Omar, do you want to say something, please? Because I just-
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. Just wanted to clarify, this grant, which we 50-50 match, as they've spoken before, and once you get a pool, you can never put a roof. Very clear, you need to understand. But the reason why we're moving forward, it's not because the goal right now is to find funding, right? Because you want to find funding and have that hand it down. You know, when we figure out that there is a funding source somewhere else that we can go, we don't need to utilize this for, then at that point we can go always, you have the option of this money once it's been awarded. It's not ours until you sign the contract with the state, and then that contract and that particular park now becomes a park, an outdoor pool in perpetuity, and it's also...
Perfect. Roseanne, one more question. So if we go ahead and approve this item, the application of the resolution, and IED has already agreed, or the design, all you need at least to move forward with applying?
Yes.
So at this point, I would like to go ahead and approve the application and resolution of Water Conservation Fund grant. And, okay, Councilor Barton, please take that, is there any? Seeing none, the motion carries unanimously, and with that, Roseanne, you have all the motions that you need?
Yes, thank you.
So much. Next discussion.
Thank you, Mayor Cortez. This is an item that was discussed back in budgeted for an Independence Day celebration. Since that time, the council had voted on an ordinance to ban, as well as illegal, had already been banned. To Year 1, proposed a celebration that the council approved in the budget. 2, do it in a that ordinance that was passed. With that, I'll turn it over to back to Roseanne.
The Independence Day program was placed in my general fund budget for this fiscal year. But there are some decisions that I'm seeking direction on from the council. One is, would you like to have it on July 3rd or 4th, and we can accommodate. The in adopted an ordinance banning the sale and use of fireworks throughout the city. So to stay in compliance with passed, we looked for alternative ways of celebrating Independence Day, and we took a look at laser light show. These laser light shows are being held all over the place in Las Vegas, stadiums, and was in a Giant Stadium. It's considerably less. To contract out for fireworks for attendance, $35,000 and $50,000. I contacted the Pyro Spectacular group, and so we're looking at signing an agreement. If this is something for 17 Laser International, and if you'd like, there is a video. A YouTube video. Okay, that you can do an idea what the program would look like. reintroduce that, or would you like to speak?
I have a question. The city manager.
Just what is so.
City manager. Must be. About, I want to say about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I had brought the idea that we sponsor the 4th of July. That you thought, like a professional that would be able to do a fine job. They gave you a presentation, you agreed with it, they were going to bring known artists, they were interested in the 4th of July and May 5th. He told me, and he was, hace como 2 meses, más o menos, interesado y hacer un 4 de julio, patrocinio que paga $50,000. Lo traje al consejo, tuvo con el Alegre Marqués, con el city manager. El city manager me dijo que parecía una compañía con buena reputación, con el Concilio de Los Ángeles, la fiesta Broadway, de artistas impresionantes. Habló con él y me dijo el city manager, ¿sabes qué? Esta compañía creo que van a poder hacer un buen trabajo. Estaban ellos pidiendo el 4 de julio, ¿por qué? Porque ellos tienen que poder justificar a las más grandes que el evento va a funcionar. No tal gratuito, menos de $50,000, claro. Sí, no lo negó. Y ahora, $50,000, $50,000. Esto se trajo, ¿por qué? Se trajo, ese día que se presentó la idea de traer este patrocinador, le pregunté al city manager si alguien más en el concilio había aportado a tratar de cumplir la promesa que era hacer un 4 de julio. La respuesta $50,000. Déjenme decirles en qué me interesaría a mí invertir $50,000. Me interesaría invertirlo. He hablado con ellos, lo traje aquí, también para que se dialogara. Los niños con necesidades especiales, con autismo, ellos pueden sembrar sus plantitas, algo será, pero nunca se logró, no se ha hecho, ni siquiera han hablado del tema. Nuestros niños nos están pidiendo más transportación. Allí no sirve. Me pidieron que si podíamos reemplazarlo. Hay otras cosas que nuestras comunidades necesitan. Una opción, patrocinador. Y lo negaron, ¿por qué? Porque fue idea de Licea sin no se consideró, porque el Señor, al traerlo, como lo conoció, Dios mío, el escenario, porque mi hija canta, hasta en eso ya me he fijado, fíjate, mi interés no ha sido personal, mi interés siempre ha sido mi comunidad. $50,000 ahorrados, egoísta. Es gratuito para ustedes, Tigres del Norte. Se dijo que permitieron entrar y ahora me presentan esto. It's not your fault. Pero lo que estoy diciendo es esto: querer invertir $50,000 hubiera podido ser gratuito. Ese es donde queremos invertir opciones. No. Este punto, después de esta junta, no sé ya ni qué decir. Me siento decepcionada. Me siento triste. ¿Por qué? Porque aquí parece poder y hacerle es importante que hacer lo que es correcto. Esto está mal.
Vale.
Gracias.
About 2 months ago, I brought a promoter who was interested in doing a celebration here. I brought the council, he had a meeting with the city manager, told me it was a professional company, who worked with the city of LA. They asked to do and Cinco de Mayo because they needed to do their sponsors. The city council refused this. It would have been free, or at least a lot less than this. And now I'm being $1. I brought the sponsor. I asked if anyone else had an idea for a celebration. Now here's this.
Members of the audience, if you could please keep it down. Thank you very much.
I would rather invest $50,000 in a program for a garden called the STAR Program for special needs children and really have something for their own. But that never happened. Our seniors need better transportation, more transportation. Their exercise to be replaced. And there was another option too. But the idea was from and they even, she's supposed to put her daughter on the stage because my daughter has always been the community, and this would have been free, and the city manager said this was a professional company, but it was not allowed, and now here's this. What, do we really want to spend when we could have had a free program? Would you rather invest that in something else? I just don't know what to say. I'm really disappointed. It seems like flexing their muscles is more important than doing what's right.
Councilmember Barca?
Yeah, where do I start? I just want to say, I know you mentioned your daughter, and I'm really happy that Jennifer can bring her daughter, because I think of talent, and I think sharing that. So I don't know the idea that.
It wasn't an idea, it was actually done.
Sorry, Councilwoman Rodriguez, you need to respect council members. Bryson.
I mean, you know, I wouldn't really even want to, but when accusations and attacks are being made, I almost feel like it's my responsibility to provide some clarification. When this proposal was brought forth in regards to July event, it was brought in a manner that required us to make a decision immediately, and that's the way that it was. I felt like it was a rushed decision, which is the reason why. She is right. The city manager said this seems like a legit company, and that is correct. I never got to meet them though, and it was a rushed decision, so I voted no on it. She's right. You made another point, and I'm trying to remember what that was. I agree. I would not spend $50,000 on a laser show. If I would spend it on a garden, things that she mentioned, spend on that. I have a question for the city manager. City manager, is it $50,000 or $17,000?
I just want to clarify, just for the record, with the company that Councilmember Rodriguez mentioned, they seemed very good. They were answering questions before we asked them. I just want to say though, that was brought to the council. That's why it was a little bit more rushed because of the timing. So,
Okay.
I think the idea was, but potentially July 4th, just to be clear, we had budgeted as far as the council approved that, knowing that that was traditionally the cost of roughly the tradition of fireworks shows in the past that the city has done. So the budget is in that. We did look at an old fireworks show of 10 minutes would be $35,000 to $50,000, and what this 20-minute laser light show that's choreographed and all that, but it would be $1,000. There could be with things like that to bring that number down. I know that changes the argument, but the numbers there.
For the clarification, and I want to stand corrected in regards to which event it was. On my event, not the. And I do have a comment in regards to this particular item that had already been And here are the positive things. By the way, I wasn't very impressed with the video, to be honest with you. So the video was not a good thing, but the idea of having a laser show, we did pass an ordinance last year, right, to abolish, which improve the quality of the air quality. So, get done or not, I mean, we're department. Hopefully, people comply with the new law. But I think this will be a great way to follow up with us, because if we adopted a policy where we are banishing fireworks in order to have better air quality, I think having, to me, makes sense as a progressive city that our environment and being responsible, environmentally responsible. But again, that video did throw me off. So it's worth the $17,000. I'm having a hard time deciding. So that was my comment. Next person talk.
Yes, thank you, Roseanne, for attempting to bring something new to our city. I do like the idea of a laser show. Perhaps if we can see maybe some more examples with our city, also with regards to our ordinances. But I would like to propose that it is done on the 4th of July so that we can go ahead and provide entertainment for them. They won't be able to be, you know, in their own home. That way we give them that alternative to be exposed to the rest of our constituents, you know, popping out fireworks when they do. Also, on this note of the fireworks, I would like also to petition for us to come up with residents that New Year's Day the fireworks kept going off, and that's a little bit sidetracking from the 4th of July. But I think it all correlates, so we can maybe look for in other cities, they use the screen to announce to the public, you know, that are going to be incurred if they do violate our policy. So I think there's two different things on the, two different items. One is the proposal of a July 3rd or July 4th, so maybe we should take a poll of the council for that, and then that will decide what day, and then the rest we can decide whether we want an opportunity. You know, for the different, you know, we have festivals all the time, but this might, and it seems pretty impressive, laser shows in other places, so maybe if we have some other samples.
Innovative, and we are a progressive city. So, but I do want to add a check-in for police. This is actually a big alarm. It's your teachers and disabilities. That's really difficult. It's even difficult for me to look at. So I can imagine someone with disabilities something, and a lot of people sometimes don't know that they do something like this, and they have a teacher. So I would recommend that we go in a different direction. I think great. I think that propose a parade, like the 4th of July parade, or have like a cool stuff where small, but I just feel like the right direction simply because we have to, you know, if I'm going to be camping here for, I think we have to do it all year round. And this is, I feel would be great for our community. Also, the price does seem 20 minutes. But, I mean, hopefully we can, you know, establish a date in which we can celebrate, but something that's launched and be inclusive of all our communities.
Okay, so with that, can we take a poll to whether it's 4th of July or 3rd of July, and then the second issue after that?
I'll go ahead and motion for 4th of July.
Okay, I'll go ahead and second July roll call.
Councilmember Osuna?
No.
Barcena?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
So are we again, the money,
This is just to decide on,
deciding that means that we're agreeing to pay for it, correct?
Or the 4th.
Mayor, to clarify, come back, we've got, I think, enough direction here, that we can come back with other ideas, maybe a menu, you know, that are just as creative, give the council another opportunity to select some other event, maybe traditional event like that.
yes. We have a motion and a second on floor and we restarted the roll call, so let's finish the, we'll bring the rest of the item, but we'll have to do a motion for that.
Porcera? And Mayor Cortez.
Clarify, Councilor Rodriguez, no vote. It's just to decide.
Yes. Did I miss you?
Yes, you did.
That's fine, apologize.
Okay, so one vote to, have the possibility of an event on the 4th of July, and then motion to, table this item or the rest of this item for discussion. Mike, are we looking maybe
The next meeting.
the next, is that feasible, or do you want us to with different, may I have a second for that?
I'll second that.
Okay, is there any objection? Seeing none, we're gonna go ahead and table this item. City Clerk, public participation is now open on non-agenda items. Do we have speaker cards?
I have cards.
Rodriguez?
Déjeme decir una cosa, que el respeto no se hace. Porque lo que antes del meeting de los... Les voy a explicar algo, organicen qué es lo que está pasando aquí. ¿En qué ciudad están promoviendo drogas? La ciudad de Commerce ahorita la tiene en corte porque hicieron un referendo para que las personas votaran y la cagaron. Y lo que más me sorprende es que sí es el City Manager, yo y también el School Board Member, lo cual es de drogas no se hubiera tocado allí, porque él estaba representando la comunidad, a los niños, y la ciudad le paga a él no para promover. Lo otro, ella trabaja para el School Board Member también, y aquí hay menos rumores de que dicen paredes, porque nosotros, yo personalmente, los lucharé para sacarlos a todos. Gracias.
Okay, I'm not too sure what this does, but some mano. We're just gonna.
Evening, earned, not forced. I think that the last meeting, and you all can decide what you think is. I did some research which cities were promoting drugs, and it turns out the city of Commerce is in court. So and the surprise was that the city manager of Commerce also on the school board and been handling this, shouldn't have been handling this subject at all, because he was supposed to know that this lady is also working on and so if you really are trying to bring, you are going to run into walls, and I personally will work to get rid of all of you.
Buenas noches, señor Concilio. Mi nombre es Francisco Ramos, tengo orden del 77. Mi preocupación es qué es lo que está pasando aquí en la ciudad. Yo no miro que trabajen, o trabajan. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Eh? Que no es justo todo esto. Tenemos que hacer algo de aquí, porque no hay progreso, nada, nada. Allí, en el espejo, hay un señor que tiene un automóvil o más, se ponía a echar la calle, toda la calle llena de... llamaba, y yo no sé quién quitó eso, de que el departamento de... no sé, que habla el 911, ¿para qué voy al 911 yo si no es una cosa que estén matando a alguien? Queremos que trabajen para el pueblo. Pues le dijimos, quiero que pongan atención en lo que están haciendo. No se vayan por otro camino. Espero lo que está pasando aquí. No sé qué cabeza tiene, cómo piensa. Esto lo voy a ver como una familia, no para estar ahí como les dije. Es trabajo, tenemos que hacerlo. La vez pasada les dije, vamos, que sí, cada uno hace la cuenta. Es todo.
Members, my name is Francisco Samano, Gardens since '77, and what's happening here? It looks like you are not people. I'm not sure who you are working for, but this is a disaster with your all fire. It's not fair to the community that you were. If something doesn't change, we're going to have to a way to change. Is getting done. Our streets are, to another word, my street, who is doing mechanics, and the oil and even gasoline are running. I called the police, but it seems like when I called, there was no one to, and they don't want me to call 911 because this isn't something that's done. But we want to see action. We want to see for the community. A different it's really us working, not just big. And this is hard work, as I said last time, but it needs to be done. And I said, we'll work with you if you're willing.
M. Garcia.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Nicolás García. Mi problema muy conocido, ya varias personas de aquí lo saben. Mi problema es con los condes. Yo soy la persona damnificada que tenemos un promedio ya de aquí en Del Garden, y yo soy los condes, ¿ok? Policía, perdón. Y da la casualidad que mi propiedad abarca con el condado, ¿ok? Perdón. Lo llama uno al departamento de policía y pertenece al condado. Y es que llega la policía del condado, perdón, llama al alcalde. Ya tengo yo con mi familia. Yo quiero que de veras hagamos. Un día estaba incendiando mi casa porque bate en fuego al pie de mi barda y se brincó para mi casa. Una buena persona, los bomberos, gracias a Dios. Yo, los bomberos para pagar mi propiedad. De veras, yo quiero saber si hacemos algo, porque lo sabe y hasta ahorita no queda. Dan una vuelta, tengo todas las personas al pie de mi barda.
Elena interpretation. Okay. Good evening, my name is Nicolas Garcia. My problem is already well known. Most people know about it. It's the homeless. Excuse me. I'm one of the people who has the homeless. I have been in Bell Gardens, lived in Bell Gardens for 15 years, and I have these problems, but my property is part of the city. It's also part of Caltrans, part of the county. I have all three entities, and so one, the city, they told me to call the county. I called the county, they told me to call Caltrans. And at 3 a.m., for example, my house was on fire because a homeless fire to the area at the base of my fence. Luckily, a good neighbor saw the fire and called the fire department. Everyone knows this is going on, and all the Caltrans, and yet nothing is being done, and this is really a problem. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Lina Romero, and I'm I feel like we don't want marijuana. It affects me, and it's like I walk from school to home, and there's like marijuana. And we go earlier today, marijuana, and they went to the store and started like stealing stuff. And we saw it, but like nothing happened. There's a bunch of marijuana, like we feel safe. We walk home and my sister's like, oh mom, can you pick us up? Because they said like going so much marijuana. It will affect not just me, but like adults. Many other people will be like, ooh, yes, drugs. It's not just like marijuana. We guys are able to like understand, and I will like really, if you guys like do something about marijuana, because all over Bell Gardens, maybe like they hide it, you can't see it, but the smell. And you know about it. Thank you very much. A todos los compañeros de la policía. Yo soy de Elena Romero. Yo hablé con la señora Alejandra y por favor que no queremos la marihuana y vengan a vender marihuana. Pero se me entendió también el señor Marisa de aquí. El señor Manu Beltrán nosotros lo conocemos y no se fue de aquí con no muy buena reputación. Y que cuando llegaron a nuestras casas a pérdida con toda la señora Jennifer Rodríguez, aplaudo lo que hace. Nos hubiera gustado que lo hubiera hecho antes también. Señor Bazán, le falta educación para tener. En 1986, en esta ciudad de Petare, habíamos visto esto. Usted, señor abogado Olivares, jamás había visto esto aquí. Queremos que puedan representarnos en nuestra ciudad. No venga a dormirse. No decida por nosotros. Los impuestos los pagamos. Ahí está toda esa pobre gente, horas y horas, mientras que ustedes se peleaban. Eso es infantil. Queremos gente profesional. Porquería. Con el abogado, espero que cumpla lo que prometió, porque nosotros no con un pedazo nos vamos a... Créame, usted es un profesional. Yo, lo que vengo aquí, que no se permita la tienda de cielo, porque yo tengo una niña que nació y creció dentro de la droga, y esa niña luchó contra unas siguientes, 4 niños pelearon para no regresar con la mamá y volver a lo mismo. Que usted y a mí no me interesa quién dijo, si fue la niña o fue eso. Eso es ridículo lo que usted estaba haciendo. Gracias.
Good evening to the council members, the chief of police. I'm a legal guardian, and I have talked to Alejandra that we don't want marijuana here. We don't want marijuana here. But what I understand is that Mario is up to his eyeballs in all of this. And we know Mario San. He was here, and when he left, it wasn't with a very good reputation. With all due respect, we applaud, but we wish you would have done it earlier. In 19, and we've never no gardens. Even you, Mr. Olivares, we've never seen this kind of thing here. We want professionals. We want executives. We want people who represent. With all due respect, again, don't come here to sleep. Come here to because we pay the taxes. We want. As I said, this. It's what you're doing professional. I have custody of children, and I have a girl who was born into drugs and grew up fighting the effects of the drugs. I watched 4 to not have to go back to their mother because of the situation that too. And so we want something done about this. We do not want marijuana.
Okay, Council will now participation. We're going to go ahead and move on to city council member comments.
Thank you very much. In the interest of time, I'm going to just say thank you for all the folks that come up here and spoke, and with that, good night.
Thank you. Councilman Barton.
I want to thank all the residents that I feel here at the meeting. I want to to the comments that were made about homelessness. I thank the gentleman that was here. To feel there's anything that I can do to help. Simple as that. So please, if you can and possibly help you to do it. We have Rosario Luna, la mamá de Romero. I want to thank you for coming up here and expressing your opinion. One thing that I did notice is I want to share my experience with marijuana. Where I live at home, cloud of marijuana, and I said this before at this meeting here. We have neighbors that smoke, and there's clouds of marijuana. Disabled, that's why his body's paralyzed, and his kidneys don't work. So this idea that, you know, that I'm trying to bring drugs to the city of Bell Gardens is being put in to look like a, because I don't think there should be marijuana smoked in our community. I'll say that, Jennifer, that's the exact same thing. Marijuana should be allowed because it's bad. It's actually not allowed. Marijuana right now in your parks or in your, that is already illegal. So it's not this fear of marijuana city. I mean, we heard the girl already here everywhere. It's been here since I was a child. I was exposed to marijuana growing up. And most of the kids are. That's the reality of it. And I don't agree with smoking in public, with smoking in parks and in schools. There is this, I keep hearing over here, because there's drugs, right, because someone is going to happen. When I walked around, the opposing campaign, they were saying that we wanted to bring marijuana since back then. And Jennifer was supporting us during that time. Is that do not underestimate the role that politics plays in this whole thing. Politics control and trying to manipulate people to support you. That's what politics is. I'm not a politician. I didn't grow up into politics. Funny part, okay? Am I a legalization of marijuana shops? I don't know, and I'll tell you why I don't know. Because I don't know what it can do for our city. Nobody has told me. Claim that I have all these meetings with people about marijuana. I haven't had one single meeting. I wish I did. You know why? Because then I would need more. What are the we have? What are we talking about? I don't know. I don't know. Sorry to. But I don't know. I did so that I could be working towards something that can benefit you. But the reality is made up. There are people that might be special, that might be pushing for this. I don't know. I don't care. What I care about is what is being brought forward to me and what kind of options I have for the community of Bell Gardens. And right now, just being straight up. So if somebody's lying, please think about why they might be. Think about what are the issues that they currently have. Are they going to be up for the election soon? Think about all those things, because the truth is hidden. But I can't help you. This is politics. So I hope everyone has a good night. Thank you again for, and we'll see you at the next meeting.
I just like to order.
May I take your place?
So I'll go ahead and make my comments before that. Again, to Councilwoman point, Councilwoman Rodriguez, you will get your time. Councilwoman Rodriguez, again.
Lo sacó de orden.
So as far as go, and I am going to make them early because I do need to go at this point.
Si se tiene que ir,
Councilwoman Rodriguez,
que lo dije, que se va a ir. Se iba a ir
speaking out of
antes de que order,
Councilwoman.
por eso lo pusieron al último.
Councilwoman, you're out of
Well, you're
order.
gonna
This is your
listen
first
to it
warning.
and do what you threatened to do.
Councilwoman, I haven't been threatening to do anything, Councilwoman. I gave you a first warning and I gave you a second
Eso
warning. Nothing.
se va a ir
If I may,
a
Councilmember.
los comentarios.
Councilmember Rodriguez, we've had a really good meeting so far, and why don't we continue with public, with the
You
council?
know what? Councilwoman, at this point, I do have to go. I do have a full responsibility that I need
No
to
tiene
tend
tiempo
to.
para
At this point, Mayor Pro Tem will take over the meeting.
despaciamente no ustedes no quieren hablar y todo lo que estoy diciendo son mentiras, Entonces que deje las pilas.
Que deje de quedar grande el pueblo, ¿verdad?
Excuse me, members of the public, council,
Igualmente hay una orden que
everybody needs to,
la orden la ha seguido por
everybody
más.
needs to just keep quiet while the council member speaks. Thank you.
La orden la ha seguido por más de un año igual, y ahora cuando se trata de hablar de este tema tan delicado, se va.
Se va.
Es precisamente, no tiene tiempo de representar. Las ciudades van hasta la 1 de la mañana para las personas que permanecen aquí. ¿Qué es lo que dijo ella? ¿Qué es lo que dijo Marcos? Que no quiere la marihuana en lugares públicos, que no quiere la marihuana que se fume en las escuelas, que no quiere que se fume en los parques, pero no mencionó nada de no quiere los negocios aquí.
Ponga tu casa.
Dice que con... no, dice que aquí que hay control, que hay miedo, que hay esto. No, lo que está pasando es que ellos no saben que la comunidad se despierte. Esta es la tercera vez que intento yo traer algo en la boleta donde les daría a ustedes el poder por el tema de marihuana y lo negaron. El otro concilio lo negó una vez, tercera vez que se iba a hablar, no quieren hablar del tema, se levantan y se van. ¿Por qué? El tema que ellos saben y están en culpa en todo. Si no quieren ganar, más ganar que ustedes ahora tienen seguro que este derecho lo tienen ustedes y no 5 o 3 personas que se pueden vender. Tenía preparado todos ustedes de cómo es que la marihuana afecta a nuestras comunidades, cómo nuestros niños tienen un índice más alto de irse y hacerse drogadictos, demencia, Alzheimer, cómo cuando tienen este tipo de todo, cómo escala el crimen, los robos. Pero ¿saben qué? Dejo hablar de este tema en la área de discusión, que no me permitieran y que lo pusieran al último, si se fijan en la... que lo pusieran al último para poder... sabían que se iban a cambiar. Ahora dice que política tengo. Conoces. 19 como a la comunidad. Con lo de con mis papás. Empecé activa desde chica. No compré porque ellos nunca fueron activos. No comprenden porque no tienen ese amor que uno tiene para la comunidad, porque esta comunidad ya sufrió anteriormente escándalos de María. Ya sufrió anteriormente ricos que estuvieron. Ya sufrió anteriormente sentían con su concilio. ¿Por qué? Y se va, porque para ustedes. Así fue antes. Se repite. Se vuelve a repetir. La marihuana. Ella lo admitió en frente del city manager. Dice que Mario Beltrán es... Y si President Mario Mendoza was her mentor in front of you, the Senate. Un hombre de negocio. Y Marco, él me dijo juntas con él. Yo no pongo esto en la que me las invento. Es la primera vez que la pongo. No pueden decir que mis intenciones no son. Por un año y medio puse ese tema en la agenda y no la prometimos esto. Yo lo prometí y por eso lo ponía allí. Como dice Marcos, no tengo la información, pues edúcate, instrúyete. Esa es tu tarea como concejal. ¿Qué estás esperando que vengan y te den la información por cuchara? Cuando algo te interesa, tú vas y lo buscas. Y el hecho de que ahora lo están negando, que eso es lo que estaban hablando traer, señor Pedro Aceituno, Marcos y Alejandra teniendo juntas, haciendo sus tíos. Política, ¿cuál intención política, Mario? No están tratando de pasar esto. ¿Qué? ¿Qué excusa? ¿Qué acusación? Entonces, ¿sabes qué? Aprende quién soy. Si algo me da orgullo decir, es que ustedes. Siempre he prometido y he cumplido. Estoy esperando a que me llamen. Sé muy bien lo que está pasando en el... Y yo me de pedirle que pusieran un referéndum en la boleta. Pero no va a pasar. Entonces ahora la comunidad la que va a tener que tomar. Porque si ellos mañana lo pueden volver a cambiar. Ya miraron la trayectoria. Aquí, miren. Entonces, ¿qué confianza podemos tener con este gobierno local? ¿Qué confianza podemos tener bien? Y lo más espantoso es que mienten con una cara mirándolos a ustedes a los ojos. Eso no está bien. Yo le dije, no, la tienda de marihuana. A este punto, como dijo él, van a decir que es político, Marcos.
Under your agenda, there's 4 other items, and
sí, como decía ya, cuatro tópicos más de conversar. Pero creo que de aquí alguien no entiende. Necesito nada más hablar inglés. Any translation in English? Entonces, le llamamos a usted. Yo hablé con el jefe de policía. Porque la excusa que me han dado es que genera ingresos, que genera como lo que genera, vas a tener que reinvertir eso y más para que no empiece a escalarse el crimen. Todo ese cochino es lo que estaba pidiéndole una vez, Marcos, no 2, y es la tercera vez que lo pido. Así que inventármelo, intenciones políticas, todo lo que saben que no tiene sentido. Entonces me hubiera esperado hasta junio como tema, me hubiera esperado, pero no es eso, son casi 3 veces que lo he traído, 3 veces. Entonces, el referéndum, hicieron al último, se fuera la mayoría. Eso no va a surgir, no va a pasar. Solamente que por una obra de milagro ellos decidan ponerlo y si lo ponen próxima, si no les tendría la confianza para pensar que lo van a estar. Intereses personales y los existe. Y se lo digo a ellos.
We need to get a translation. I think a lot's been said, and I just want to make sure that we have a translation.
I think the chief waive, all I just wanted to ask was for clarification if council, and we'd ask for translation that case, otherwise translation tomorrow.
What about the audience, recording, so?
Go ahead and make the translation to the best of your ability. I know it was a lot. Thank you.
now they have a touchy subject here, and she decides she has to leave. She has no time to represent the city for that until 1 a.m., but she has to leave. What Marco said about marijuana in public, in the parks and schools, he didn't say anything about businesses, and he's talking about control, and that's what he's talking about. This is what for the community was. I have been trying to get a measure on the ballot on it 3 times for this. Always been voted down. They just don't want to talk about it. Talk about it if they have nothing to hide. I had a speech ready about the effect of more likely to become addicted to Alzheimer's and to normalize the drug. The mayor at the proper time and it'll probably off again. An activist since I was 19 with the committee with my parents. As a kid, you don't understand. The community has suffered under the scandals, all the recalls, has suffered a lot, and mayor respect for this is repeating itself. Admitted, was admitted and in front of me that but making up, this has nothing to do with political motivations because this is the 3rd time I've brought it up. I've been 2.5 years. Marco says he has no information about this, then educate yourself. And Alejandra are having your meetings and what you want to do. You know, I've always been honorable with all of that. I came here tonight to put a measure on the ballot, but so I think the people to take action. The excuse for this is that it will generate revenue for the city, but you'll have to invest and more in the increased crime that will come. The 3rd time is a little political interest. If it hadn't, I would have waited until June or November. But what they do is till the end, so they don't have to vote on it. People get tired, they leave. It will be a miracle if it gets back on the agenda, but even if it does, it will probably be taken off again.
Lo otro que, miren lo que está pasando conmigo. Yo se los digo, ya se los he dicho. Aquí el señor, el otro que existía aquí, tomó ventaja del hecho de una situación muy difícil en mi vida, que no me permitía a mí por motivos de salud, y no es algo que me inventé como él se burla. No pude venir a 10 juntas, de 400 juntas que he asistido aquí en la ciudad. Me demandaron para destituirme de esta posición, porque en aquel entonces, aquello. Entonces le digo, no me da pena decirlo. Creo que muchos de nosotros pasamos difíciles en nuestros hogares, donde no nos permite funcionar como es normal. Una de las señoras aquí, señora, está activa en esa comunidad, no me espera. Entonces le digo, las acusaciones que han hecho son tristes porque ellos en realidad no tienen conocimiento, ¿cierto? Como les digo, yo venía con toda la intención de nuevamente hacer otra petición, pero lo de la Cámara lo pusieron al último para que surgir voto y también porque ella obviamente planeaba salirse antes de que pudiera hablar del tema. Entonces lo último que queda es que nuestra comunidad tome acción con este tema. Lo otro era un tema me llegaron, se han caído, se rompieron la cara y están afectados. Pero esas son cosas, como dijo Marcos, no son importantes suficientes para que las puedan resolver. Digo, ya ha sido una junta muy larga, ya no, pero sí les digo que venir a la junta, estar activos, activarnos y de que este tipo de negocios, porque daña a nuestra comunidad y no importa la cantidad de dinero que pueda traer, va a dañar a nuestra comunidad. Y espero que para la otra, donde hay temas que les pertenecen a ustedes, que deben de escuchar, pero fue hecho de esta manera para que no se quedaran y no me escucharan. Pues, y nuevamente disculpo si en algún momento me puse un poco activa, espero entender todo lo que surgió de esta estado y sentí que no podía yo y no decir absolutamente. Así que muchas gracias y buenas noches.
I would like to also say to Marcos, to explain what's going on. Mr. Alfonso, previous council, they of the difficult situation that I was going through and the health problems I was in.
Madam Chancellor, if we can just hold off real quick, the council member, Mayor Pro, a few comments, and then we can go back to the translation. Teaching you.
Going, getting some traction, as you guys see on Pregnant. They're not very, they're pretty far apart, so I'm saying, Jennifer, before I leave, I just want to say to you, it's hard to be here, you dedicated your life, and I know that you will continue. It's very isolated and being a minority. I understand the hospital back, only faster. But I just want to thank you for your bravery, for the way you've opened your arms to us. You dedicated and sacrificed your summer with me because you believed in us, and I hope that, you know, we can repair this. And, you know, Marco and Alejandro will do it again. So thank you so much for everything that you do. For everybody that's here tonight, I want you guys to know that for a few months, I started and my newborn son, and I bought do it so that I can bring marijuana shops to the city. Take a firm stand that I will not vote for that in my city because I'm going to grow my family here. I'm going to purchase my first home in the city. This is where I plan to grow and I will improve. And that's been my motto since the very beginning. And I want you guys to go home firmly knowing that I will definitely give you that vote. And I have more things to say, but I really have to keep going. Just know that I'm here for you guys no matter what. You know, the council looks like we have the power, but it's things shift dynamically here from one day to another. Interests change, lobbies change, money change, everything changes. But what doesn't change is my honesty and my integrity and how I'm here to represent regardless of what's happening up here. So with that, I bid you guys all a farewell, good night. Just have a good day. And for everybody else, good night.
Who would chair? So, you want to chair? I mean, I think we're almost done. Why don't we just have the, and then at that point, I think we can adjourn.
I couldn't make it to 10 meetings out of 400 to from where they can't do everything that they will have tonight to put this on the ballot, but they have didn't happen, no votes. They have to take action. I have pictures of people who have fallen. I've provided enough information to look for a solution. I know it's been a long time. Please don't stop being active, and don't let these our city. I hope that next time there's more respect from the council members and not leave your items until the end, so that we can actually with the community items. And I apologize again if I got a little aggressive. You understand that in these circumstances, me, and everything that happened tonight was premeditated, and I just didn't feel.
So, Madam Clerk, for the record, the meeting is adjourned because we no longer have a quorum, but all of the items were discussed on today's agenda.